Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode corporate filings so you don't have to. Today we're diving into Whitestone REIT's proxy statement. Get ready, because some of these proposals are like asking shareholders to decide between slightly different shades of beige. This document is all about their upcoming annual meeting and what shareholders get to vote on. We're talking about electing trustees, approving amendments to their compensation plans, and even a non-binding vote on executive pay. It's like shareholder spring cleaning, but with less actual cleaning. Let's get right to it. The most important items on the agenda: electing 6 trustees, voting on an amendment to their long-term incentive plan, giving a thumbs up or thumbs down on how they're paying their top executives, and choosing their accounting firm. It's a busy day for shareholders. First, the trustees. Whitestone has nominated 6 people to serve on the board. 5 of them are considered independent, meaning they don't have close ties to the company's management. There's Julia Buthman with tons of investment experience, Amy Feng, who knows all about investor relations, Christian Gathright, a real estate pro, Jeffrey Jones, a financial expert, David Holman, who's the CEO, and Donald Miller, another real estate veteran. The board seems to be trying to strike a balance between experience and independence. Whitestone says they are committed to hearing from all their stakeholders. They have one-on-one meetings, go to conferences, and even use social media to see what people are saying. They talk with shareholders, tenants, and even the local communities where their properties are. It's good they are listening, but we have to see if they act on the feedback. Whitestone is also highlighting their commitment to corporate governance. They have annual trustee elections, an independent board chair, and policies to prevent things like insider trading. They also have been actively refreshing the board. Most of the independent trustees haven't been around for very long. This seems to be a response to feedback. They say they have heard about having fresh perspectives. They claim to have designed the board and show their qualifications in a skills matrix so that shareholders know that their board has the required experiences. Now, who owns Whitestone? BlackRock and Vanguard are the biggest shareholders, each with over 5% of the company. Then there's NCB PR Capital. As for the executives and trustees, CEO David Holman has the most shares, but overall management ownership is pretty low. Let's talk about trustee compensation, or what board members get paid. They get an annual retainer and additional fees for things like being the chair of a committee. They also get stock grants. Here is an important point. Proposal number 2 is about amending the company's long-term equity incentive ownership plan. This would allow them to issue more shares for employee compensation and extend the plan's life. If approved, they would have another 2,000 shares to use. The plan is scheduled to be terminated in 2028, and they want to extend it by 10 years. The filing shows a burn rate for the last 3 years to be around 1%. This means that their total fully diluted overhang would be about 7.3%. This basically means they are giving away about 7% of the company to employees. It also would lock in better governance practices. And what about executive compensation? Every year, shareholders get to give a non-binding vote on whether they approve of how the top executives are being paid. The board is recommending that shareholders vote in favor of the current compensation packages. In 2024, they point out that they increased revenue, achieved leasing spreads of 17%, and also worked on improving their tenant quality. Interestingly, salaries increased substantially, some by 15%. This is where we have to dig a bit deeper into the numbers. Let's see some numbers for salaries. Here we can see that Mr. Holman's salary is $500,000 and that Ms. Mastandrea's salary is however $25,000. Always useful to $25,000. It's always useful to see who the top people are and how they get paid. Also, as a reminder, you can look at prior periods at the end of the filing. Finally, proposal number 4 is about choosing their accounting firm. The audit committee appointed Panelka Forster of Texas as their independent accounting firm, and they are asking shareholders to give it the thumbs up. Let's see what they're paying their accounting firm. Here I see that the audit fees totaled around $600,000 in 2024. Those are the proposals. Overall, this proxy statement is about shareholders having a voice in how Whitestone REIT is run, from electing the board to voting on executive compensation. Now, for my take, Whitestone seems to be doing the right things by responding to shareholder concerns about board composition and corporate governance. It always sounds better to hear it from the company, but when their G&A expenses are less than half of the revenue, and they aren't, it does sound disingenuous. The company needs to get more efficient to deliver more long-term value. However, the increasing executive compensation is interesting because while top line grows, revenue profitability is down. Why would it make sense to get paid more for less? Lot overall, the company will continue to deliver community-oriented properties in growing metropolitan areas with solid leadership. For today's episode of Corporate Decoder. If you found this helpful, please smash that like button, leave a comment and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of corporate filings. See you next time.